I'll be talking about the term violence against women, and there are many different types of violence against women around the world. Well, forms of violence against women, I should say, grammatically correct. Rape, other sexual crimes, forced prostitution, disappearances, female genital mutilation, and so on and so forth. All these are crimes against the person, and they must be stopped. And of course, on the subject of abortion. Abortion is one of the most complicated political subjects anywhere. But the person should have a basic reproductive rights. The Amnesty International ran a campaign called My Body, My Rights, which is true. You are a human being, you have your own basic rights to stand up and fight for yourself, and must be stopped. Now, I'm going to mention a few countries where, few exceptional situations where violence against women has reached epidemic proportions. Democratic Republic of Congo, where rape is used as a method of war, and as well as in the Central Africa, where rape is also used as a method of war, in Burma, Syria, and Iraq as well. In Guatemala, there's been a long history of unresolved murders from 1996 to 2006, where 2,635 women were raped across the period, and the Guatemalan authorities do nothing about it. And unfortunately, I have to include Canada in this, where Aboriginal women were basically raped, murdered, and this whole regime of discrimination. Unfortunately, it's a long history of Canadian abuses towards the so-called First Nations people. Now, I made videos on all of these subjects, and I think I will link them in the description also. But the point is, it must be stopped. End of story. It must be stopped. And I know personally several women who have been victims of violence against women. Obviously, I will not name them here for the sake of privacy and confidentiality. So it's very important. It's called, and of course it's called the Convention on the Elimination of Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which bans discrimination against women in 16 fields: education, healthcare, sport, politics, which I also made a video on that subject too. And there's also the Maputo Protocol, which bans rights of African women, as well as the Istanbul Convention against domestic violence in Europe, and Warsaw Convention against human trafficking. And of course, there's also the Palermo Protocols, which I believe is the third Palermo Protocol, ratified in 2000, spelling out the whole regime against trafficking. And of course, we also bring the 1951 Refugee Convention into this, because, well, refugees can be subject to sexual violence as well. Now, it's time that these instruments of international human rights and criminal law are enforced with the strictest regime, to make sure vulnerable women around the world, including people I know, are not being abused.